Hi guys, doing a video review on the Wraith today. This tank's currently one of the deals of the week, being sold at half price, and there's not many reviews, so I figured I'd get one made and, hopefully it can help you decide if you want to buy it or not. Now, it's a tier 8 premium medium, German. It plays up to tier 10, and it's a variation of the Panzer 58 mods. Now, in this game I'm top tier, but I'm not going to the centre. Namely because red team, even at the bottom tier, red team do have 2 artillery down there at the bottom, and artillery love shooting me. In some medium tanks that's not a problem because they're quick, however this one's different from the Mutz. The Mutz is a fast tank with a decent gun and good gun depression. This one's got a decent gun and good gun depression, but it is not fast. It's covered in spaced armour, and that's slowed the tank all the way. Its top speed is about 40 km per hour. You can normally get a tiny little bit above it. But when you consider that there are a fair few heavy tanks at tier 8, 9 and 10 that can go 40 or even faster, it means the limited top speed on this tank can be quite an issue. Now, the spaced armour does give it some advantages over the standard Mutz. You can use this tank in areas where you'd be crazy to take the other one, and it can block some shots or it can help mitigate splash damage and things, but it's not something that I'd ever rely upon. It'll just bail you out sometimes. One of those times is now. That artillery shell was a direct hit as far as I can tell, and if I was in the standard 58 Mutz, that would have penned and done full damage and might have even have taken my tank out of the game. Due to the spaced armour, I got hit with splash damage, and it wasn't so bad, thankfully. Again, more splash damage. So if I was in the standard tank at this point, game over. The only reason I'm still in it right now is because of the spaced armour. So it can be good in some regards. Now here I'm being wary because that Centurion was staring at me before, and he starts coming straight after me. I'm guessing when I snapshotted him at the beginning I must have annoyed the player or something, and they're on the way. I'm side scraping off here because the Centurion doesn't have, a huge gun. I'm hoping just to take him out of the game before it can become an issue. Like I said, the gun on this tank is decent enough. It's not the best gun on a tier 8 medium, but it's certainly not the worst. It will get the job done. It's okay. The biggest issue with this tank is mainly that limited top speed. I'm not sure if the spaced armour is worth the trade-off. It does come in use at times, like I say, but I find bottom tier, this tank can be very difficult to play just because of how slow it is. And when you're bottom tier, the extra spaced armour doesn't help you out anymore at all. You're just a very slow medium tank at that point, which is never good. Now here, because I'm top tier, these are tier 7 heavy tanks in front of me. I'm side scraping against these. It's an IS and an IS-2. And I'm reliably blocking the shells from their guns using my spaced armour. It's not something I try against, a tier 9 or a tier 10 heavy tank. But against these guys, I'm okay doing this. Again, if I was in the normal 58 Mutz, these shells would be slicing straight through its armour because its armour's paper thin on that tank. And these guns, if these two are fully upgraded, their guns do an average 390 damage. So again, I'd be out of the game by now if I was in the standard Mutz playing it like this. But this one's tanking the damage here against these quite well whilst doing this. So it does mean this tank can actually fight on urban maps better than the standard Mutz can do. But the standard Mutz is far better in a map like Prokhorovka, for instance. In general, I'd always rather have mobility over armour in a medium tank. I'm going to move up here because they're getting pushed by the rest of the green team. You can see the tank gets up to that 40 kilometers fairly quickly. It's just a shame, obviously, it can't go faster than that because it is really quite slow. And the turning circle on the tank doesn't seem to be that great either, which is something that can catch you out, especially if you're trying to fight over medium tanks, because they'll just be a lot more agile than you. Now here the IS-2 is distracted, so I put a shell into his fuel tank on the side of his tank there, and that sets him on fire. But it's got an automatic extinguisher and it doesn't do much damage. I should have backed off. I didn't. He put a shot in, and that shot went straight through my armour. He low rolled, thankfully, but that shows that the armour, it can't be relied upon. You can't just go up to another tank out in the open and expect to be bouncing shots, because it's not going to happen. If you're side scraping, or if you hold down, you know, using your gun depression and you've got a decent angle and things, then your space diamond might bounce some shots for you. But you can't just brawl, you know, on an open street with another tank, because then they're just going to cut through your army. It's not a 4202, I'll put it that way. Now at this point, I just want to get these guys out of the way because the other flank's fallen. He's dead. I'm hoping to take the rest of the health off the IS, but he gets shot beforehand. So I get 9 damage. And then there's T-3488. And I get the kill on him for barely any damage as well. So, you know, just a bit of kill-stealing gameplay there. Of course, it's not really a thing on this game unless anyone holds fire to get the kill. Any red tank, you just want out of the game as fast as possible. Now the IS-152 is behind a rock. I can only see a tiny part of his tank, but I take the shot and it hits anyway due to the accuracy of the gun. I missed a vital part of this while I was playing the game. There are shells coming from behind the ISU-152. When I was playing, I didn't notice that. That means they've got tanks camping that top corner still. I assumed because our flank, our base even is open, that they'd pushed along the flank and that they were all going to go and cap our base. That's what I thought they'd done at this point. And then this comes up and I thought I was right until I get spotted. Team turn me to it, and at this point I'm thinking, crap, this tank again, it isn't fast. I'm in a bad spot here, I'm in the open and I do not have the mobility to get out of there. I dodge one shot and I'm hoping I can go undetected and maybe move. However, that's not to be the case, and another shell hits me. And that's game over for me. I got caught in a very bad spot there. Now I'll take us to the garage and I'll bring up the gun stats like I normally do, and I'll also show you the spaced armor layout on the tank. This was a loss. It did earn 86k, but there was a silver up on there for a little bit, so it wouldn't normally earn quite that much on a loss. It earns decent enough money. It's got, you know, the 50% multiplier, I believe, but it's not going to earn as much as a tank like the Atomic or the Primo Victoria, something like that. Overall, it's a tricky tank to play, I'd say. It's worth it if you want a crazy looking tank. You know, I actually kind of really like the look of it, and this was a gift from a friend of mine, which I was really kind of happy about, because yeah, I like the unique look of the tank. Now I'll bring up the gun stats. There they are. Like I said, they're decent. Most of its stats are. There's nothing that really stands out as being amazing, but it's all pretty good, other than that speed limit. Now I'll bring up the armor layout and just show you exactly how much spaced armor this tank has, because it has got loads. There we go. All those kind of grey kind of colour bits are covering all of it, other than the hatches, back of the turret, and a little bit around the gun. I don't believe the gargoyle is a hitbox either. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I don't think it is. Like I said, this tank, it can bounce some extra shots that the other one wouldn't due to that spaced armor. But honestly, I'm not sure, like I say, if it's worth it. It means top tier, it can be more fun to play than the standard much would be, but bottom tier, because it slows you down so much, this tank can be really difficult to play. And due to that, I'd say if you like the look of it and you want to get it for that, then go for it. But if you're after just a German tier 8 medium silver earner, then I'd probably suggest getting the Panzer 88 instead, because it gets preferential matchmaking. It costs a little bit more than this one does on the deal, but I'd still say that one's more worth it. This is a hard tank to play. If you're bottom tier, you've really got to work hard to make it work. And due to that, I'm not sure it's one I could really recommend to most people. If you want a challenge though, then buy it. It's yeah, you know, it makes you feel good when you have a good game. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, I appreciate it.